The survival genre is one with a lot of rich legacy. Though Minecraft did not invent the genre, its popularity within indie circles as a cult classic in 2009 and 2010 gave way to monumental mainstream success in 2011 and beyond. And with it, a generation of games inspired by its gameplay were born. The likes of DayZ, Terraria, and Don't Starve gave way to a second generation populated with the likes of Fortnite, Green Hell, and Subnautica. And at this point we're seeing a third generation of these titles, the likes of Valheim, Raft, and Grounded. While many of the newer entries are innovative or unique in their own regard, it's hard to shake the feeling that all of the major design innovations have been done. In a time where you can explore an infinite universe in a genre with the likes of accurate structural integrity or gripping realism, it's hard to imagine what kinds of gameplay elements haven't been done before. But sometimes, just the smallest of games can surprise you. The Planet Crafter is an indie title made by just two developers, Emily and Bryce. Taking cues from the likes of Subnautica, the player is stranded on a planet with minimal hope of leaving. But while the player is trying to escape the planet full of deadly monsters in Subnautica, in Planet Crafter you're a convict trapped on a desolate planet by the Sentinel Corporation, with two outcomes. You either bring the planet to life with the aid of terraforming tools, thus letting your company colonize the planet and profit from your hard work, or you die. You emerge onto the rocky surface in an escape pod with the basic goal of raising the terraformation index to 175,000, which you accomplish through the acts of building thermal heaters, plant tubes, and by releasing the trapped gases in the planet in order to build atmospheric pressure. These three stats are added together, and their growth slowly changes the surface of the planet. The initial couple hours are slow. Your air supply is limited, so you can either build one-time use air tanks, or you can construct living compartments, which have the added bonus of turning each of these breadcrumbs you place between points of interest into future construction installations. And likewise, placing installations outside of things like caves, mines, or wrecked ships around the planet makes sense as a place to catch a breather during your expedition and a means to store the valuables inside. See, it becomes clear as you explore that your current task is a popular one within the Sentinel Corporation. Dilapidated installations from former convicts, wrecked ships, metallic debris, even corpses line the planet, each containing supplies from past excursions you can take advantage of. And it's for the better, because as evidenced by the story around you, you have very strong odds of dying on this hostile planet. But you don't. Harvesting these materials isn't an arduous process with the mining tool you're offered, and supplies are plentiful around the starting area, so getting to 175,000, even though that number grows slowly, is only a matter of time. Planet Crafter, in a way, plays like a first-person adventure game mixed with a clicker, with the player creating devices that raise their index autonomously, and new ones raise those rates by whole orders of magnitude. Though instead of just keeping the game open and doing other things, you instead spend your idle time mostly going around and exploring the world. There are a lot of different biomes to explore. The planet is rather varied for such a small area, and I quite like that. There's a decent amount to explore, as the crater is flanked on two sides by shipwrecks, and on a third by a desert full of crashed shipping containers. A labyrinth north of the starting area, a large battleship in a desert, plains covered in aluminum spires, and more are all within a minute's walk, and I'm confident in saying this, as the game's environments are not procedurally generated. While I could see that being a bummer for some players, a handcrafted map contains a fair number of hidden story beats or golden crates containing high-value loot, rich for the taking. Plus plenty of fun puzzles that you get to take advantage of way late into the game if you keep with it for dozens of hours. And it's not like the genre is a stranger to the concept. If DayZ could have handmade maps, this can have handmade maps too. I feel it's important to clarify just what makes this different from similar survival games. Planet Crafter has no significant source of dread. While many survival games will put massive, terrifying beasts in your way or make you endlessly grind for materials just to stay alive, Planet Crafter has no combat and will continue to have no combat. Even the natural disasters like meteor showers only pose harm if the debris blocks a door or if you get directly hit. Your buildings cannot be destroyed, and your greatest threat is suffocation, which even then can be averted with some simple construction. Actually, maybe even more pressing is the actual change to the planet itself. This is what sold me so heavily on Planet Crafter. Watching the sky turn blue in that first couple hours, seeing clouds start to form, hearing the first patters of rainfall really hammers home how much you're helping cultivate life. Though it comes with its own drawbacks. Liquid water begins to form on the planet. First of all, that is a problem as ice is one of your main components early on in the game, and after a certain point, it all melts. You can craft ice with just a water bottle, but if you don't know that, you're going to watch one of your common ores just disappear from the surface of the planet. But also, you begin to realize that your initial crash site is the remains of an ancient lake bed, and the water is rising. Having to deal with the rising tides is a bit of a chore, but deconstructing your base only takes a moment and returns you the full sum of its pieces, meaning that you can pretty much endlessly reconfigure your bases. With that said, it's actually rather difficult to completely destroy matter in Planet Crafter. There's a device you can build to destroy overburden, and deconstructing a base with a door or a window doesn't return the materials for those additions, but the basic materials can be scrapped and rebuilt as needed, or you can mine them from the ground with ore extractors, making them effectively an endless resource. Some things like seeds and plants you only get so many of, but you get more than enough to help you through all the way to the later stages of the game. Additionally, because buildings can be scrapped and rebuilt, you can upgrade older heat pumps or vegetubes as needed. The only other way to completely dispose of a material is to send a rocket, which are not a means of escaping the planet, but instead act as a way to spread your work over the rest of the planet's surface. They also once again reinforce the ideology of treating this like a clicker adventure hybrid, as rockets add 10 times what your equipment's been producing to your terraformation index, which makes them a very easy way to boost the index and move forward into later stages of terraforming. If you want to help your oxygen or pressure levels, you can simply send a rocket into space to help you do that. Again, most of the resources are infinite if you place down mining rigs, but some of them do require things like specific kinds of plants, which there are only so many of. But there's way more than enough to, again, help you get all the way to where the game currently ends in Early Access Alpha 0.5. And eventually, once you've established enough of an atmosphere, things like heaters and oxygen-producing plant life can move outside, taking the form of lawns or flower gardens, floating algae farms and biodomes full of alien life, forests full of trees. You turn this planet into paradise. You were just a convict, somewhere else in some other story. But here, while you are alone, you get to live a life of luxury. You eventually upgrade your supplies, giving you a jetpack and a very ample oxygen tank. You have several biomes worth of exploration ahead of you. You have mysterious underground rivers. You have strange doors hidden behind mines. You have giant, sprawling sand dunes to build massive bases on. And you have the ability to conjure up biodomes full of butterflies and bees effectively at will. Why are we so hasty to go home? Planet Crafter is a very relaxing time full of exploration and intrigue, especially for a game currently in alpha, and watching the planet evolve over a run is deeply satisfying. I highly recommend the game, and I'm looking forward to new updates over the next year. The Planet Crafter is available on Steam for $20, and my final verdict is it's worth the money, even now.